So we're here with Rick.
Yes.
And Rick, I feel like I met you somewhere from before.
Could have been here yesterday.
Really?
In fact.
Was it? Wow, how amazing. So about halfway through Rick's excellent explanation, the camera filled up, and so we lost it. But anyway, so we invited him back this morning, and he was good enough to come. And we've had some technical issues. We're getting a late start, but whatever. It's all set up, ready to go. And this is Sid Meier's Civ.
Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game.
From Fantasy Flight
Games.
And
yes.
This is like pre-production copy? But this is what it's going to look like final.
This is straight out of the factory.
Straight out of the factory?
Exactly what it's going to look like.
Cool. So it's 2 to 4 players.
2 to 4 players.
About 90 to 2 hours.
By 2 hours at least.
Okay, 2 hours at least.
You're going to be able to complete a game in a night, no matter what.
Cool. Optimal number of players, 2, 4, 3.
It plays well with all, actually. It's balanced very well.
You know, it's amazing how often publishers say that. Anyway.
That is very true. But we worked very hard on this one. Kevin Wilson worked very hard to get this balanced. And what's nice is the board is modular, so you don't have a giant board for 2 players. So
one of the things that, I'll let you get to it in a second, but one of the things that when we went over this yesterday that really jumped out at me, for those of you listening who play Civilization, every major aspect of Civilization, Kevin has basically shoehorned it into this.
Somehow got it in.
I mean, everything. Yesterday when you were explaining it to me, we got to a certain point, and I go, well, that's what this is going to be. And that's the Barbarian, and that's so anyway, good job, Kevin, and I'll let you get to it, Rick.
All right, so like you said, Kevin Wilson designed this game, designer of Arkham Horror, Cosmic Encounter, Descent. He worked very hard on this game, and he took all iterations of Civ and looked at what made everyone unique, boiled it all down, and came up with this game. So we have all the big parts. We have the wonders. We have the great people. You have combat units that you can upgrade, and of course we have the 4 victory conditions. So military, by conquering an opponent's capital, you win. Currency, by gathering 15 gold total in a turn, you'll win. You have the culture victory. We have a culture track here that tracks it. Once you get to the end, you win. And of course, unlike Civ, where you have a tech tree, this has a tech pyramid, which was a very unique way to do it. So basically, you have a number of level 1 techs. They don't have to be built in any particular order. You choose how you want to build them. And you lay them out just like a little pyramid. So as I build a level 1 and another level 1, I now have a foundation to build a level 2 tech.
Actually, Jay, in the white box.
And there are 15 techs in order to get to spaceflight. There's only one spaceflight in the game, so once you get there, you're guaranteed victory. So those are our victory conditions.
Cool.
And you'll get as you
I really
advance.
like that, actually. The more I think about that tech stuff, because then, so if you have to build a level 3, you have to go another 1, another 2, and another 3.
Exactly.
That's a really cool idea. And then the cost of each of them is progressive as well.
Progressively harder to build them. But as you advance, get more cities, you'll get more trade that you can build them a little bit quicker. What I also like about it too is it's not, the level 2 techs are not dependent on you building a specific level 1.
Right.
Which become very tedious.
Yes.
Especially in a board game, at least it does.
How many of each of those things are there?
That's a good question.
Oh, really? Rick, you already had a chance to prepare it, and no.
It's about 8 or so of each.
Okay,
So
and everybody has their own deck, so...
Everybody has the exact same deck, yes.
Cool. All right. So you can win through technology, and you can win through armies.
Armies, culture.
Cool.
Or through currency. So basically the board game is modular. All the capital cities are built. So for instance, this is Egypt's capital tile, and they start out with that tile, and it has a recommended spot for them to build their capital. It's very good for starting players to choose there. Later on, as you know the game better, you may choose to go to a different location. So we're playing the Americans versus the Germans here at Essen.
I was the Germans last time too. Achtung! Okay.
As everybody can see, I'll show you here, all the cards tell you, have a little dial here that you can keep track of your trade, and also a dial you can keep track of your currency. And all of the countries have a starting tech. Most of those are going to be level 1, but there are a few that start at level 2 techs, but they'll still have to go on the bottom of your tech pyramid. And for the most part, we all start out with despotism. The Russians, of course, start up as communists, and the Romans start out as a republic.
I was going to say, they always do.
Yes. Now also everybody gets a little capital here, and it has 12 defense. It is possible through tech to build walls, and then you can flip your tile over and you get a little bit more defense.
Plus 16. Very nice.
Exactly. Everybody starts out with an army figure and a scout figure. I'm in the US, so I start with a great person in my city. Great people will contribute culture, trade, production, coins to your capital.
And the thing about the cool thing about this is with the city in the middle and the 8 squares around it, it's very Civ-like, where you have little symbols for each of the terrains and whatnot around it. So
correct.
A forest gives me 2 hammers, and coast gives me 1 trade each.
Gives you trade each, yes. Yep. So at the start of the turn, you have the ability to build new capitals. I'll go into that a little bit more as we talk about traveling. Obviously, right away we can't do that. And just like Civ, you can switch governments. If you have unlocked a government with a tech the previous turn, you can do it for free and go to the new government. Otherwise, if you have a government unlocked and it's been a few turns, you will go to anarchy for a turn, which you'll lose your city management step, which is very important, but sometimes you may have to switch to a new government.
I understand, it happens.
At that point, then everybody simultaneously will collect all their trade from all their cities. You look in the surrounding 8 squares and you will mark that on your trade dial. So as in America, I have 3 trade to start with. It's not much to do with right away, but that will build up pretty quickly here. Then we go into city management phase, where you have 3 possible actions. You can build a unit, and units are cards. And we have cards for infantry, artillery, mounted, and aircraft you'll eventually unlock. So you can buy new units for your army. You can build another figure, another army figure, another scout figure. Or you can build any wonders that you have built up enough production for. They're very expensive, but they do give culture to your city and will also give you a special power you can use. What's nice about wonders?
When you buy the wonders, do they go in your 8 squares as well?
Absolutely.
So they overlay whatever was there.
Overlay what was ever there. Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously certain tiles are going to be better than others. So for instance, the Hanging Gardens. Start of my turn, I can build a figure in the square containing the Hanging Garden for free. So it costs me no production to do so.
Cool.
It costs 15 production, which obviously you're not going to have right away. But if I have Animal Husbandry tech unlocked, it only costs me 10.
All right.
And we start with Ancient, and as the culture track builds up, we'll eventually lock Medieval and then Modern Wonders.
Yeah, we sweep these, deal 4 new ones, and then sweep these and deal 4 new ones, and off we go.
Correct.
Cool.
Or you can devote your city to the arts, and that's how you get culture. You get 1 for your city, and then any. So for instance, I have this great person that has 2 culture symbols, so I would get 3 culture on my turn. At any time during city management, I can trade in any culture that I have to advance on the culture board. So at first, it costs me 3 to advance a space, and we have these nice little culture cards that will unlock special abilities that can be used at certain times during your turn. And also eventually you'll get a great person to unlock as well. So the culture track starts with 3 trade to start. Once you get to the middle part, it's 5 trade plus, or 5 culture plus 3 trade, and then 7 culture and 6 trades. It's a little more difficult, but you should start unlocking that a little bit faster as you go along. Or you can harvest a resource. So for instance, on Egypt, they have some silk down here, and they have some wheat, and they have some incense. So you can spend your turn to harvest that resource. Resources are used to play special abilities from techs.
And you do that instead of producing them.
Instead of producing, yes. So then we get to movement. At the start, all of your figures have 2 movement. Of course, there are techs that will unlock more. Horseback riding, I believe, unlocks 3. Now movement works, so I'll take my scout. I want to move towards this tile here. It costs me 1 of my movement points to actually look at the tile. And I'd flip the tile over. All the tiles have a little arrow on the bottom here. That tells you the direction you came from. So I'd flip this around and go here, and I can see here, there's water in front of me.
Boom!
Yeah, so I'm not going anywhere there.
But you can go across there, right?
You cannot move diagonally.
What?
No diagonal movement.
Orthogonal movement only?
Orthogonal movement only.
Wow, brutal.
So I'm going to plan ahead for my future turns, and I think I'll move here. Now, as we notice, we flip this over, there's a couple symbols on the board that are different here. We've got huts, and we've got a village. Huts are friendly. All you have to move is an army figure into that space, and you'll get that resource. For instance, they have wheat there. The villages, as we talked about yesterday, are kind of like the barbarians of the game. You have to move an army unit in there, and you'd go into combat.
Yeah, it's combat. Let's go do combat. Yes.
All right. So, when we do combat, the next player in line will take an infantry, artillery, and a mounted card.
Yesterday I won this. No, I didn't.
Well, we tied.
Well, I hurt you.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Hurt me. So, to keep track of your levels, all the units have 4 levels, with the exception of aircraft. And we have these nice counters that have little chevrons on it. So right now, all of us are at level 1. And the combat cards are 4-sided. So instead of having to gather new cards every time you advance your units, you just have one card that you rotate around. So we would all be playing with the 1 chevron icon. If I were to advance my infantry up, then I would rotate that card, and I'd be playing with pikemen, which would be a little bit more powerful. So what happens, instead of us just randomly playing cards against each other and doing damage, we create battle lines. And as battle line, you can choose, after you play your card, I can choose.
Do I have to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can pick anything I want.
Pick anything you want.
And I am going to pick a spearman in the middle like I did yesterday.
Spearman in the middle like yesterday. I don't think I have the same hand I had yesterday. In fact. This is not looking well for me. So there's a couple things. There's a power level for each unit. So my horseman level here is got 1 power. And he's got a little green artillery symbol underneath that. So that means that mounted units will trump ranged units.
Yeah, so we got a little Rochambeau thing going where the horsemen mow down the archers, the archer mow down the infantry, and the infantry kill the ranged guys.
Yes. So what that means is normally, so if for instance I have a spearman that's also level 2, if I were to play this against his spearman level 2, they both do 2 damage to each other, and they would both die and be out of the game. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Instead,
suicide your horseman in there.
instead, I'm going to play my archer. Now, my archer's got enough.
Oh.
Archer's level 3. They trump his guy. They will do their damage first. So my unit does not take any damage.
You were totally bluffing me.
I think my horseman was a level 3 yesterday. I don't remember.
I'm kind of screwed, actually. I have a horseman, but it's only a 1 horse, and if I play it, I do 1 point of damage to you, which kind of would help if I did something later, but it may not, so whatever, I'll do that. The horseman suicides.
All right, so you would do 1 damage to me. Use this as a damage token for now.
Yep.
I have 1 damage on me right now.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to play my spearman level 2 here, 2 power.
Wow, you really schlocked me this time. Okay, spearman, kill him with an archer.
Takes care of my guy there. And I'll play my horseman another battle line. That gives me 4 power to your 3.
Yep.
So I would defeat you.
No.
Any units that are killed go back into the deck. So as I said, during your city management phase, you're going to want to build more units. Because right now, I have 2 combat units. So if you were to come at me with 3, chances are I am going to lose.
So it's cool, actually. I like the way you guys group the 3 things. It's a little Rochambeau in each of the cards. So when you're holding an infantry card, it could be a spearman early on. Later on, it's a modern infantry.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it gives you nice flavor without actually being too micro-y.
Absolutely. And then we go to the research phase, where you can then spend, if you have enough trade available, you can create a level 1 tech. So once you get 6, it'll down. Once you get 6, you can build a level 1 tech. You get 11 points, you can build level 2, 16 for 3, 21 for 4, and to build your big level 5 guy is 26 points.
It's a lot of trade.
It's a lot of trade.
But you can do that because you can build these buildings.
Absolutely. I can put some harbors down, which give me an extra trade per space. I get a couple great people in there. And once you start building new cities, like I said, building cities, going a little bit more.
Second cities, right? Good point.
Oh, that's a horrible tile for me right there.
Oh, so very sad. You are researching water.
I am researching sailing.
You're
for
researching
sure,
sailing as soon as possible. Because you're on an island.
Wow. So basically what would have to happen, I would have to come over here, defeat that guy. Let's find a better tile, shall we? Just to show you how cities are built.
Okay, Kevin, it wasn't that smart, huh?
That's part of the fun. You don't know what you're going to get.
I know.
If somebody would have came in from the other side, I'd be
it would have been awesome.
So cities, you have to take a scout It has to be in a space that's not adjacent to an existing hut or village. It has to be at least 8 spaces away from another city, so you're not sharing the same resources. So, for instance, I could build a city
And it
there.
has to be one away from any bad guys, too.
Yep, if he was in play, I couldn't build it there, but if my army had come in and killed him, then I would be okay.
Cool.
And I would take another city tile, you would sacrifice your scout guy, which you can build more, and then I'd place another city tile there. Next turn, I'd be able to start collecting all the resources and trade from that area and the
Very
production.
Cool. All right. Excellent.
And that's a basic run-through of a turn.
It is, actually. So, yeah, and you've got these little things that power up throughout based on the culture.
Yes.
We got our wonders, we got our military, we got the buildings. And the buildings are really cool because they also age, like you start off with a, what is that?
That's
A granary, but then later on,
It becomes an aqueduct.
it becomes an aqueduct, which is twice as good as what it was before.
Exactly.
Right on.
And certain of the buildings, like the barracks, the library, and the temple, they're unique buildings. They have a little star up in the corner, which means you can only build one per city. There's no
Right on.
star on them. I could build, if I have a bunch of desert spaces, I can build a whole bunch of trading posts if I want.
Very cool. Very, very cool. How many civs start the game? Or
We start
in a
with
box,
six.
rather?
We start with
of them?
6
Cool.
Germans, the
So,
Americans.
how long before we have an expansion pack?
Cannot comment or speculate on any future products. But this
Whatever.
will be in stores the first half of November.
Whatever.
First
First half of November,
First half
and
of
our MSRP is
$59.95.
$59.95. That's pretty good. All right. Well,
lot
that's
of
really
stuff
cool,
in here.
dude. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm lucky enough to be one of the play testers on this from early in the beginning, and it's been fantastic the whole time.
Other than working with Kevin, I agree. Probably. All right. Cool.
No comment.
Thank you.